Virginia won the title in the tournament 2 years ago. Last year, Carolina beat Virginia in the semis, only to lose to Notre Dame in the championship. Virginia looking for its third ever ACC Tournament championship. North Carolina looking for its 18th.
North Carolina wants to establish itself inside to get the ball to Brice Johnson. But the guards have got to make shots. And Justin Jackson, there's the double right away. It came right on the pass.
And you know it's coming. They scout it. They do it all the time. But boy, the bigs have to make quick decisions.
Well, it comes at different times. Sometimes on the dribble. That one was when the ball was in the air, that double came. And one of the tenets of the pack line defense, when the ball goes in the post, get it out of there.
How about the matchup? Brogdon being guarded by Page.
Well, Page starts out on him. He is North Carolina's best perimeter defender. But it's going to be a number of different guys guarding him. Brogdon is bigger and stronger than Page, but Page a little bit quicker.
Parentis with the shot clock down to 6. Now Gill. Meeks on him. Brogdon's got to get it off and does not get it off in time, so each team starts the night with a turnover.
Well, typical of how each team has been playing of late. North Carolina had two very good defensive games. One against Pitt, where they just took the game over defensively late in the first half and kept going. And from the opening tap, they dominated Notre Dame on the defensive end.
Justin Jackson with the ball right now had 22 in the ACC Tournament semis against Virginia last year. Hit 4 threes. Has not shot the ball from the perimeter as well this year, but still can fill it up with floaters and runners. Page for 3. He hit 4 of them in last night's game, had 16 points. Overall, it's been a bit of a struggle for him this year. But as Jay Will said, if he makes shots, and as you have said, if he makes shots, that takes Carolina to a whole other level.
Well, both he and Joel Berry have got to make shots. And then Justin Jackson was a big factor last year in the semifinals of the ACC tournament, knocking down some big threes. He shot the ball very well toward the end of the season. And Jackson has been struggling from the perimeter all year.
Virginia using all of the clock again. Brogdon, the drive, lays it up, no good. Kennedy Meeks the rebound for Carolina. In transition, Carolina loves to get down the floor in a hurry. Jackson, no. Meeks, yes.
That's North Carolina basketball. Beat the defense down the floor to get an easy look and then crash the offensive glass.
If you ask any coach preparing to play North Carolina, they say, hey, it's no secret. You got to get back in transition and you got to keep them off the offensive glass. It's been that way when you play against Roy Williams teams for many, many years. But boy, Carolina's really good at those two things, among other things. Parentis, no. Isaiah Wilkins with a rebound.
Well, North Carolina not getting a block out. And Isaiah Wilkins has been a big factor toward the end of the season for Virginia.
Inside to Brogdon, and Page might have gotten a piece of it.
He did. Marcus Page has made so many big plays defensively in this ACC tournament. Just like that break he stopped against Notre Dame, picking the ball out of the air. That was a similar play right there.
Through the hands of Brice Johnson, and another turnover.
Well, Johnson's got to catch that. I'm not sure it was the best pass. But watch this. Getting on the high side, he's worried about that little down screen, rescreen. And so Marcus Page playing on the high side. They just throw it up to the rim. And what a great reaction by Marcus Page, who is an excellent defender. So he can get up underneath Malcolm Brogdon, make it difficult for Brogdon to drive it.
The game being played thus far mostly at Virginia's pace, although they haven't scored yet 3 minutes in. Gill can't finish, and Johnson with a strong rebound, averaging better than 10 boards per game.
North Carolina coming down, looking to get into their secondary break. What makes their secondary break so difficult to guard is the threat of the primary break.
Meeks to Johnson, 4-0 Carolina.
And Meeks caught that ball off of the lane and immediately looked to Johnson, who was diving down from the top. And actually, he had already made his way right there and just essentially posted up in the middle of the lane. That was an excellent pass by Kennedy Meeks.
They met once in the regular season 2 weeks ago in Charlottesville. A hard-fought 79-74 win for UVA. Parentis draws the foul. Meeks tried to step in there, but he's called for the foul.
Meeks has got to look for this double team as soon as the ball arrives. Looks into the middle and immediately sees Brice Johnson. Brogdon almost got there. That was an excellent pass by Kennedy Meeks. He was alert when he caught it, because you know that trap is coming.
Brogdon. And finally, Virginia on the board. And who else? Brogdon, who had 52 points in the first 2 games in which he's played here with the ACC Tournament. Again, the immediate double on Johnson. He finds Meeks. The kick to Page. Jackson with a rebound, but rejected by Devin Hall.
Nothing is easy in this one. North Carolina got exactly what it wanted. The pass out of the double team, the kick to an open shooter, then the offensive rebound. Just couldn't score it.
Brogdon now with Barry on him.
Well, what a job by Barry, staying in front. Barry is strong. Not only quick, but he is strong.
Parentes, 50% on the season from 3. And he gives Virginia the lead.
A great screen by Anthony Gill. Parentes, an underrated point guard and a vastly underrated shooter.
And again, good passing from the big man, and that's an underrated aspect of Johnson and Meeks. They are both good passers.
Both good passers and willing passers. A lot of big guys, you throw it to them, they're afraid to turn it over, and they want to score. These guys are looking for each other and creating a lot of difficulties for Virginia when they bring that double team.
Ten to shoot, as always, patience for Virginia. The drive by Brogdon. 3 defenders surround him. Now Parentes pulls up at the elbow. And another rebound for Brice Johnson.
Another excellent defensive possession for North Carolina. 5 players connected as one defensively.
And as you said last night, the reason they dominated Notre Dame was their defense.
Yeah, their defense. If they play at this level, I mean, it's going to be really hard to beat North Carolina. It's hard to beat them anyway, but it's going to be extraordinarily difficult. Another good pass.
Barry from Johnson.
Boy, the dive from Kennedy Meeks, that opened up Joel Barry up at the top of the key. And Brice Johnson hit him right in the shooting pocket. That was a heck of a pass.
We've got about 4 minutes without a whistle. 9-5 Carolina. These 2 teams battling for the ACC Tournament Championship, and also both in contention for a #1 seed.
Nice job by Carolina to dig that ball out of the post, because Malcolm Brogdon was trying to isolate Marcus Page in the post.
Isaiah Wilkins blocked from behind by Johnson.
And Roy Williams telling his team to run. Good pass.
But Gill takes it away.
Wow.
Hall driving on Jackson. Yes.
Well, that was a heck of a play by Anthony Gill. By all rights, that should have been a layup for Kennedy Meeks. He needed to hold him off, but one thing you'll never see Anthony Gill do is surrender.
Now Jackson turns it over, trying to split the double team, and back come the Hoos. Parentes wide open.
Well, that is a bullet dodge by North Carolina. Remember, Charlottesville, turnovers really hurt the Tar Heels. They coughed it up against this Virginia defense way too many times. That really put them in a hole.
Page. A lot of long jumpers for both teams. Gone about 5 minutes now without a whistle. Still looking for our first media timeout of the game. Got to be something. Even though it's early, it's the 3rd game in as many nights for both teams.
Like old school basketball back in the radio days. No media timeouts. The players are used to playing in 4-minute stretches. This is an awfully long stretch to go without a break.
Gill. And Johnson piling up the rebounds already. That's his 5th.
And he's an outstanding rebounder, averaging over 11.5 rebounds a game in conference play. Got away with a walk there.
Jackson stripped by Hall. Hall to Brogdon. And a foul.
Virginia creating offense from its defense, forcing a turnover and taking it the other way. Devin Hall with a tremendous job, not only stripping it, but taking it down and making the defense play him. 2 playing 1 before he dishes it off to Malcolm Brogdon. That's Virginia basketball.
North Carolina's won this tournament 17 times. They've been now to the final 34 times in 63 years. Virginia's won it twice in 1976, 2014. Carolina, in the last 5 years, they've now been 5 out of 6 years they have been to the championship game. But each of the previous 4, they have lost, and they have lost to a different team. And amazingly enough, under Roy Williams, They've now played in 7 ACC finals. They've won 2, lost 4. This is the 7th. And they've competed against 7 different programs in those 7 ACC championship games.
Remarkable consistency by the Tar Heels. But before the game, Roy Williams told us, people think that we don't value the tournament. He says we've been in the title game 5 of the last 6 years. He says I kind of like to win this one.
Yeah. He said if they're going to get to Saturday night and be tired, over the next few days before the NCAA tournament starts, they may as well win it.
Well, if they're going to win, they've got to stop turning the ball over. North Carolina's got 5 turnovers already.
4 subs into the game for Carolina, including the ACC 6th Man of the Year, Isaiah Hicks, who's on the board already.
Isaiah Hicks had a terrific game against Notre Dame. 11 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocks. That's his first career double-double in 104 games.
Tony Bennett makes 3 changes, including Mike Tobey, the senior, number 10, who is having a good stretch right now. Had a great senior night against Louisville and has played well in both games here in Washington. Parenta's long pass, Mario Shayok in the corner. Nice look to Devin Hall.
Devin Hall has made some big plays for Virginia. And he's a very good defender.
Hicks again banging with Evan Nolte. Tobey came over to help.
And he came over to help on the dribble that time.
Barry with Parenta's on. Virginia fans loving the defense, starting to make some noise. Barry with a floater off the glass.
Virginia was worried about Isaiah Hicks and getting back to him as he rolled to the basket. Old Barry may be small, but he is an excellent finisher taking the ball to the basket. 3 times Player of the Year in the state of Florida when he was in high school.
Shayok, who had 10 points off the bench last night for Virginia. Touch bounce pass from Parenta's, but Shayok misses the 3. Theo Pinson off to Nate Britt. The 3. And Hall down with the rebound in the chest of Joel James.
This is not a great shooting lineup for North Carolina. The guy you really have to worry about out there is Joel Barry. And Nate Britt has not shot the ball well this season from the perimeter, nor has Theo Pinson.
And a goaltending call on Hicks to give Virginia the lead heading to the timeout. 15-13 Virginia right off the bench and into the score sheet. As usual, Isaiah Hicks having a terrific tournament, and Joel Barry having a terrific season. Carolina and Virginia going toe-to-toe here in D.C.
Welcome back, Virginia, with an early 2-point lead here over UNC as the Cavaliers are looking for their 2nd tournament title in the last 3 years. Tony Bennett doing a tremendous job rebuilding this Virginia basketball program, and he's done so based on 5 pillars: humility, passion, unity, servanthood, and thankfulness. They are ingrained in the fabric of the program, so this year he decided to have them stitched into the fabric of their jerseys, a subtle reminder of what they represent every time they put on those jerseys and take the court. And he said in a situation, a game like this, the most important of those pillars is humility, to stick to who we are and not stray from it in difficult environments and situations. Guys.
All right, Allison, thank you. Great report. They know who they are about as well as any team in the country. Brogdon back into the game. Parenta's on the bench. Gill on the bench. Page has returned for North Carolina. Virginia winning the regular season title. There's more great Virginia defense. They won the regular season title last year and the year before. Won the tournament championship 2 years ago and the championship game here this year. This has been not a good 3-year run, a great 3-year run by the Cavs.
And it's been with different players. They had Joe Harris and Akil Mitchell, Darian Atkins last year, Justin Anderson. Just plugging in different players and having the same results.
Brogdon posting, swatted away by James.
Terrific screen down low by Mike Tobey to free up Malcolm Brogdon, and Joel James just came over with that big body and swatted that away. They're going to try to isolate Marcus Page down in the low post as often as possible because that's where Malcolm Brogdon has his greatest advantage with his strength.
We showed you earlier who Carolina has played in the championship game the last several years. Hard to believe that North Carolina hasn't won this tournament since 08 and that no North Carolina school has, there's a travel on Shayok, that no school from the state of North Carolina has even won this tournament since 2011, from Florida State to Miami to Virginia to Notre Dame.
Well, the ACC opened up the doors and let the Big East in. What do you expect?
That's right.
It's a different world these days.
It sure is. It used to be 8, then it was 9, now it's 15, although just 14 this year. Louisville not here. Nice feed. Page to Hicks.
Marcus Page just would not stop attacking that hedge. And Mike Tobey couldn't stay with him. He's going to have to recover after 2 slides. And just took it to the basket and drew the defense, dished it off. Page is a really good decision maker.
Brogdon driving on Page. Wow, that's a soft touch to stop on a dime like he did, get that shot to go down.
Well, he's really improved his pull-up game. He's got a terrific step-back jumper. Excellent now off the dribble. Malcolm Brogdon this tournament averaging 25 points a game, shooting over 50% and shooting over 50% from 3, over 90% from the free throw line. He's just been the best player. And he is doing it against a defender in Marcus Page that's made him work for everything. Now Page trails him off the screen. Now watch he cuts off the drive and then gets good. That's good pressure on the shot. Now, that's good offense beating really good defense.
Jay, Virginia's turned it over twice. North Carolina's turned it over 7 times.
North Carolina turned it over 13 times to Virginia's 8 in the game in Charlottesville, and that was a major difference in a 5-point game.
Brogdon to the free throw line, finds Shayok as he slips. Pass deflected out to Brogdon, open for a 3. Tobey with the offensive rebound, and the putback.
Mike Tobey has been a difference maker his last 3 games. 20 rebounds in his last home game against Louisville.
Hicks slipped and traveled. Carolina struggling right now in the offensive end. The Tar Heels and the Wahoos playing in one of the biggest games in which these young men will ever compete. Virginia leading by 4. And all the game day guys, Reese, J. Will, Seth, Mr. Billis, will all be up in Bristol tomorrow telling you exactly where your team is or isn't going. 8th turnover committed by North Carolina. Take a look at what happens to Hicks when he comes down.
Well, there's an awful lot of contact here, and in most fronts that would be called a foul. That was called a walk, but the upshot of that is you are going to have to be really strong with the ball because there is going to be contact and everything is going to be contested by Virginia. So North Carolina's had 8 turnovers. All of them were not necessary. Here comes the scramble, the trap.
And it pays off for the Tar Heels.
Well, you need to be aware of that out of the timeout. Mike Tobey was not.
Carolina down by 4. Page thought about it, now puts it on the deck, gets inside and draws the foul. This is amazing. We are almost 13 minutes into the game. That is the first foul committed by Virginia. Carolina has only committed 2. Tobey shaken up.
That was a great shot fake by Marcus Page. That shot fake just opened up the drive. And especially with the left-hander being able to go to his left, he's also a very good finisher. He hasn't had quite as many opportunities to drive this year because defenses have been able to play off him a little bit more because they haven't been quite as concerned about his ability to hurt them from 3-point range consistently.
Tobey getting some attention on the bench. Page is playing in his 3rd ACC Championship game. Lost the first 2, although he played well in both. 17 points, 5 assists against Miami in 2013. 24 points, 5 assists against the Irish last year. So he won an ACC regular season title as a senior this year, trying to add a tournament championship to his resume as well.
And you wonder about Marcus Page's ability to hit shots late in this game because of the energy he's going to have to expend guarding Malcolm Brogdon.
Shayok! Boy, he has played very aggressively last night and tonight.
Well, Justin Jackson just can't give up the baseline there. That was a great drive by Shayok and a fabulous finish. Good pass.
Meeks over Wilkins, too strong, and Shayok comes down for the rebound.
Those are plays that normally Kennedy Meeks will finish. He's not an explosive leaper, but oftentimes he can get into the chest of the defender and finish that play.
Wilkins looking for help, finds Gill. Now Shayok. Brogdon trying to post on Page. And through the fingertips of Gill, another Virginia turnover. Berry with a full head of steam. Tough shot. Went 1-on-3.
Just body seeking rather than looking to finish the play. Brogdon kept backing up and wouldn't let him get into his body.
Brogdon's got Meeks on him right now. Tries to drive him, and it's out of bounds. Still with Virginia. That was one of those just get back and pick somebody up. And Meeks kept looking around as if somebody were, somebody help me here. Can somebody pick him up? But he did a good job to stay in front of him as best he could.
Virginia's been trying to spread out North Carolina and get isolations for Brogdon.
Page back on Brogdon now. Hall off a screen. Lost it. And a push called on Brice Johnson, his first.
I've got Roy Williams talking about, hey, wait a minute now. How come it's a slip on that end and not a slip on this one? Minimal contact. That's a loose ball. You see that forearm was the reason the foul was called. And it was a good call.
We've got a Final Four caliber crew here tonight. Brian Kersey, Mike Eads, and Roger Ayers were in the championship game here in Washington. Brogdon in the post, the kick to Hall. Nice look inside Wilkins, bounce pass, Gill, count it.
Like Gill just gets right into your body and takes up that space that a defender can use to block or change a shot.
Page the split, finds the cutting Johnson. That's beautiful.
Beautiful pocket pass, and how about the catch and finish by Brice Johnson? That is one of the softest touches you are going to see from a big man anywhere in college basketball.
Johnson, a unanimous choice, first team All-ACC. Averaging almost 17 points, better than 10 rebounds per game.
Virginia's shot fakes have been very effective.
Parentis misses the three.
Good job by Brice Johnson to run the floor, drag the defense.
And the finish, the assist to Berry. Carolina back within two.
Boy, that's vintage Carolina. The big guys rim running and dragging that defense.
The building feels about evenly split between North Carolina fans and Virginia. And it's all the folks wearing blue who are standing and clapping right now. Brogdon to Hall. Shot clock running down. Hall trying to create on Jackson. Forces it up and in with his offhand, and Virginia back up by 4.
Well, he just got right into Justin Jackson and just sent him straight out of bounds and still finished the play.
High-level basketball being played here. Very few fouls.
Virginia, anytime a ball screen set, Virginia is just converging on the ball and doing so with size and then recovering. It's been tough for North Carolina to figure out.
Two great teams, two potential #1 seeds battling here for the ACC Championship. Johnson didn't get it early, but he got it in time for the slam. At the other end, Devin Hall, tough shot off the glass, and the Cavs are up by 4. Back in Washington with Jay Billis, Allison Williams, the game day guys. Dan Schulman here, the ACC Championship game. Well, Virginia's great, no doubt about that, and they're up by 4 on Carolina. Both of these teams, as we mentioned, in contention for a #1 seed as we take a look at our Tournament Challenge resume brought to you by Acura. And when we did this last night, Oregon wasn't on this graphic. They're on the graphic now. They beat Arizona. They're going to play Utah later tonight for the Pac-12 championship.
If you go by the paper and by the principles that the committee has always used, Oregon is a 1 seed. And I think if Oregon beats Utah tonight for the Pac-12 tournament championship in addition to the regular season of the Pac-12, I think you will see the Ducks with a 1 seed.
Jackson left it a little bit short. Villanova losing to Seton Hall today. What a great year the Pirates have had, by the way. In your estimation, does that drop Villanova out of contention for a 1 seed?
Well, I'm not out of contention, but I think it drops them down to the 2 line. I actually think that's a benefit to Villanova because now as a 2 seed, they can be sent to Philadelphia. As a 1 seed, they would not have gone there.
Now, what about these two teams? Is there a scenario in which you can see both of them getting a 1 seed?
North Carolina wins, they both get 1 seeds.
Virginia wins, Carolina's a 2?
Probably.
Depends what Michigan State may do tomorrow in the Big Ten championship game against Purdue.
That will have some impact on it, yes.
All right, I think we sorted all that out.
Now that we got that done, the committee can go home.
Johnson, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Great cross-court look to Berry.
That's the third assist for Brice Johnson. He's got 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists in this game in 14 minutes. And I think Joel Berry is going to have to be the perimeter shooting for North Carolina because Marcus Page is expending a ton of energy guarding Malcolm Brogdon. He's held him to 3 of 8 from the field so far and has done as good a job as anyone that's guarded Brogdon thus far in the tournament.
Roy Williams getting a lot more out of Brice Johnson in this game than he did when they played Virginia in the regular season. Had 12, 7, and 5 turnovers in that game. This is a guy who had a sensational season. Were it not for Brogdon, would have been ACC Player of the Year, but Johnson having a great night so far tonight. Tipped away, but recovered by Page.
Well, that bounce pass from that distance is not going to make it.
Page the drive, pull up over Hall. North Carolina has the lead.
Well, that looks like the old Marcus Page there. Not just his catch and shoot game, but his pull-up game.
Page guarding Brogdon.
He's with him every step. That little step back, he reassumed his pressure, and that is not easy to do.
We got Page in the air and hits the 3.
Virginia's shot fakes have been really effective. And that shot was made available by the great shot fake.
Page feeling it now. And down to the rebound, Parentis.
That was not the shot. Brogdon was all over him. Now Brogdon going to post him up.
Roy Williams not a fan of quick shots against Virginia because you know you're going to play defense for 30 seconds every time. You take a quick shot, you can be on D 60 out of 65 seconds.
Well, I don't think he minds a quick one. He doesn't like a quick bad one. And I think that was a bad one. And it almost resulted in a transition bucket.
Toby is fouled by Meeks.
Marcus Page has trailed Malcolm Brogdon everywhere. He refuses the ball screen, takes it to his right, and pulls up shooting with the left. And Brogdon off this fade screen. The great shot fake after Marcus Page goes underneath. One dribble and pull up. Now that's something he wasn't doing as effectively last year, and that's a well-earned rest for Marcus Page. The problem is somebody else has got to guard Brogdon.
And right now, Brice Johnson is on.
Well, that means
Johnson asked Pinson for a switch, but they couldn't get it done. Brogdon misses the 3. Boy, Carolina was not aligned to the way they wanted to be. What a finish by Johnson. What a pass by Pinson.
And when Johnson is this engaged, especially running the floor, that puts a ton of pressure on your transition defense, especially on Mike Toby.
Parentis sheds Berry, but Berry recovers. 10 seconds. Brogdon to Parentis. Right back to Brogdon. Gets by Britt. Good if it goes. It will not for Shayok. And the first half comes to a close in a tie. Virginia and North Carolina battling for the ACC Tournament Championship. And they're all tied up at 28 at halftime.
That was a heck of a half of basketball.
Low scoring, but great. Volkswagen halftime reports coming up momentarily with Reese Davis, Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg. First, Allison Williams with Tony Bennett.
Coach Bennett, you told us before the game that this would be determined based on who can impose their will. How do you think you've done in that regard?
It's hanging in the balance right now. It's a battle. We've given up 2 or 3 baskets in transition. Either we got cross match, we just didn't pick someone up. Those are the ones that are those incisions that hurt. We got to shore that up, and it's a hard-fought game.
When you have been able to get your set defense, what have you done well to force them into some turnovers?
We just try to jam the lane. Sometimes we post trap, made them earn, but they're potent.
Tony, thank you.
2 great teams battling for a tournament championship. North Carolina 28, Virginia 28. Time now for the Volkswagen halftime report. Once again, Reese, J. Will, and the coach. And the 2016 New York Life ACC Tournament. Saturday night in the nation's capital. The championship game from the Verizon Center. And we're all tied up. Virginia, North Carolina 28-28, a half that saw only 6 fouls total and 3 free throws taken. Other than that, what jumped out at you?
Well, I think when you play against Virginia, your offense has to help your defense. You cannot turn the ball over because you can't defend against a run out. And when there have been turnovers by North Carolina, they had 8 in the first half. That led to easy baskets for this Virginia team. Turnover, Devin Hall takes it the other way and does a great job in transition, making 2 play 1, and that's a 3-point play for Malcolm Brogdon. And when North Carolina got out to run off a rebound, Brice Johnson, when he runs the court, puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Virginia's transition defense. He rim runs, and they look for him, and he can hide behind that defense and get an easy basket. It is going to be really important for North Carolina. They stopped turning the ball over about 7 minutes left. They have got to do a great job of taking care of the ball, and Marcus Page has to continue to do a great job on Malcolm Brogdon. He was 4 of 13 in that first half.
Carolina shot the ball very well, but there's the turnovers, 8. It's strange to see Carolina with only 2 offensive rebounds in 20 minutes of basketball.
Well, they didn't miss many shots. They shot over 50%, but they coughed the ball up that 8 times, and you can't turn the ball over against Virginia. You got to get a shot. If you get a shot, then you can get an offensive rebound, and you have an opportunity to get fouled.
Well, Brogdon 4 for 13, 10 points. Parentis 1 for 6, 3 points. Gill with a strong spinning move. His second bucket of the night. Virginia back on top.
And he got that because of a shot fake. He's being guarded by Kennedy Meeks. He is not a shooter, Gill. But when he gave that shot fake, Meeks lifted up.
Double team on Meeks. Pass deflected out of bounds. Moments ago, Allison Williams with Roy Williams.
Coach Williams, you knew you were going to have to work on offense. What's the biggest thing you've been emphasizing to the guys?
During the timeouts and during the halftime, we got to make sure that we get shots. We had 8 turnovers. We had 5 turnovers in the first 7 minutes. And Virginia's really good defensively, but let's not help them by having silly turnovers.
What's the plan defensively for Malcolm Brogdon in the second half?
Well, keep trying to get a hand up on a shot. You know, he got a bunch of points. He didn't shoot a great percentage, and that's one thing we're trying to hope for. And then let's get some offensive rebounds cut off on a turnover.
Right.
Well, he won't be happy about that as they turned it over. Meeks trying to make that long cross-court pass.
They didn't want to pass it underneath the Brice Johnson, even though I thought Johnson was open. That's a tough pass to make cross-court.
And right now, Meeks is having trouble with Gill.
Well, Gill's just facing him up and driving him. Oftentimes, you want to try to get Kennedy Meeks in ball screen situations because he has difficulty with his mobility out on the perimeter.
And Isaiah Hicks getting ready to check in. Presumably for Meeks, maybe a better matchup. Look at Johnson's pass to Jackson.
Oh, what a terrific pass and split of the double team.
4th assist already for Brice Johnson.
He's been active and productive. They've got to get the ball to him as much as possible and play inside out.
Page on Brogdon, as he was most of the first half. Hall drives. Can't finish.
They are just attacking Justin Jackson off the dribble.
Double team again. Pass deflected and stolen away by Brogdon.
Just not strong enough with the ball.
Brogdon crosses over. The follow for Isaiah Wilkins.
Brice Johnson went for the block shot. That completely opened up the offensive glass.
Virginia doesn't run often, but they're pretty effective when they do.
Well, they're running off turnovers. That's the issue. And Brice Johnson not strong with the ball when that double team came over, and the double team has been very effective in the second half.
10 turnovers committed by North Carolina. Jackson lines up a 3. Air ball, Virginia ball.
When you talk about offense helping your defense, you cough the ball up. There is no way that North Carolina's defense, as good as it has been, can defend against a run out like this. You try to block the shot, there's nobody there to get a block out, and that's an easy putback for Isaiah Wilkins because he ran the floor to cover up.
Roy Williams brings in 3 subs, Hicks, James, and Pinson, to go with Barry and Page.
Well, Gill should drive this matchup every opportunity.
Foul before the shot, the foul going on Hicks, and maybe some knee-to-knee contact the way that Hicks is limping around right now. Says he's okay. Gill right into the knee. of Hicks. Virginia ball with a fresh 30, 3 minutes into the second half.
Now Joe Barry on Malcolm Brogdon off of the out of bounds underneath. There's the screen, rescreen action.
Kicks it to Parentes. Rebound James.
Boy,
Spain's just good at that. Tough layup too.
Well, that's right out of their secondary break. That drag ball screen up top. And Marcus Page just split the defenders and finished with the left hand.
Page back on Brogdon. Barry on to Parentes.
Well, what kind of condition is Marcus Page in to be able to guard Malcolm Brogdon all game long and still get up and down the floor?
A Virginia turnover. Barry the miss, and Hicks is fouled.
We don't see Joe Barry miss many of those. He's such a good finisher, but Isaiah Hicks was right there to finish it up and clean it up. But a terrific job out of the secondary break. Here's that little drag screen, and there was just too much space that Anthony Gill left in hedging out. And that's a great crossover and split, and a fabulous finish off the glass by Marcus Page. He's left-handed, finished with that left hand.
So Hicks at the line, one more to tie it. Nate Britt in now for Page, and Nolte and Gill in for Virginia.
There aren't many starters among front court players in the ACC. Not many teams that Isaiah Hicks couldn't start for. That game he had against Notre Dame, those 15 rebounds, by far his best rebounding game as a Tar Heel.
He gets about 18 minutes per game and averages about 9 points and 5 rebounds per contest.
Per minute, he is incredibly productive.
Screened by Nolte. Parentes back to Nolte. He can shoot it.
Yeah, he's a pick and pop four-man out there.
Here comes Brogdon off another screen. It's Britt's job to stay with him now. And Gill is fouled by Joel James. Roy Williams wants a travel.
Tough call for Joel James. Shot fake and drive again. That shot fake very effective. It looked like that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a foul for being big, and he is big.
The first time in 11 years that the ACC has been an outstanding. There was great crowds and all kinds of electricity and activity around the Verizon Center. 1 point lead for Virginia over North Carolina. Make it 4. Deep three. London Parentes.
Parentes 1 of 7 from the field before knocking that down. Just a defensive breakdown for North Carolina out of the timeout. Nobody guarding Parentes.
Led the ACC in three-point shooting this season.
And North Carolina is shooting 54% in this game. They just turned it over 10 times. That's really the difference right now. The number of turnovers and the fact they've led to easy transition opportunities for Virginia.
Shot clock a factor again. Barry finds Britt. Britt drives, forces it up, no. And it's out of bounds to Virginia. And Page will return. Barry gets a breather. And now for the first time tonight, we're going to see Kenny Williams, a freshman who does not play all that much. Against Pitt in the quarterfinals, made his first 3 of the season. What is Roy Williams looking for with Kenny Williams?
Well, he's a shooter, but just to get some other players into the ball game and give his guys some rest. This is a physical game, and if he can keep his guys a little bit fresher, Carolina can play more people than can Virginia. And Roy Williams trying to take advantage of that.
Small lineup out there right now for Carolina. Marcus Page comes up with a steal. Page is going all the way.
Virginia turning the ball over on a backdoor play for Malcolm Brogdon. Very alert was North Carolina's defense to knock that away.
Brogdon got Page in the air and up and under with the left hand. How nice was that?
Boy, the fakes that Virginia is using. The shot fakes, the ball fakes. And North Carolina's going for them. Deception is a big part of basketball. And Virginia is using it very effectively.
Page on the drive again, and he's heading to the free throw line.
These ball fakes keep the defender off balance, but Malcolm Brogdon uses it, never gets off balance himself. The fake, and he steps right through for the easy bucket. He has had to work hard for everything in this game. And this young man is the reason why. Marcus Page has been outstanding defensively on Malcolm Brogdon.
Page well short on the free throw. Toby and Shayok back into the game for the Hoos.
And you wonder as the game wears on if Marcus Page, if the shot is going to fall a little bit short here and there simply because he's expending so much energy on the defensive end.
Three-point lead, Virginia.
Brogdon being guarded by Kenny Williams here. I think he's going to try. He should try to take him. It's a tough defensive assignment.
Williams, a freshman, giving up about 30 pounds, 35 pounds to Brogdon. Shayok driving on Page. Tough shot. Rebound, Carolina. Nate Britt.
The Carolina gang rebounding. The guards down there rebounding on the defensive end. You have to have all 5 guys rebounding against Virginia. But Virginia sends 3 guys back. They only send 2 guys to the offensive glass. They just want to take away transition primarily.
Rebounds dead even tonight at 18. Shot clock running down again. Page using the screen, pulls up for the long jumper, and Carolina back within 1.
It doesn't look like any fatigue there. Marcus Page with another pull-up jumper.
Page on Shayok. Toby with a size advantage on Hicks, around and out. Nolte with a rebound and threw it away. Carolina looking for the lead. A wild shot by Britt and out of bounds.
That's got to be a foul on Hicks.
So yeah, watching Mike Eads head over to the table, and it is. A push on Hicks is the call.
And a wild shot by Nate Britt. Good to attack, but he didn't need to throw that thing up there. He could have found an open shooter. Marcus Page was on his right side. Could have kicked it out to Page for a shot or shot fake and drive.
Britt will sit, Barry back in, Thompson in for Parentes, who will likely be a brief breather for Virginia. Third game in as many nights for both teams. Virginia winning the regular season matchup. Virginia looking for its second ACC Tournament Championship in 3 years. North Carolina looking for its first since 2008.
See if they try to put there. There's the post on Kenny Williams.
Boy, a pretty good look for Brogdon. And now Hicks gets called for another foul. That's his third. Tomorrow on ABC, LeBron James and the Cavs taking on Chris Paul and the Clippers at 3:30 Eastern Time from the Staples Center. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless at 3. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Hicks out with 3 fouls. Brice Johnson back in for North Carolina.
I want to try to get Brice Johnson a touch. And Williams, just a freshman, has not played a ton of minutes.
Brogdon goes by and had it stripped away, and Johnson comes up with it.
Well, Johnson has had a really nice game.
He's worked hard at both ends, has passed the ball very well as well. Jump stop, Page, and Carolina has the lead.
And Marcus Page has been so aggressive. Now, he's not guarding Malcolm Brogdon right now, but you can see he is into this game.
And he's the high scorer in the game right now with 13. Nolte open. Count it.
That's his game. You have got to press up on Evan Nolte. Make him put the ball on the floor. He's an excellent perimeter shooter.
Barry with a drive right around Thompson. Couldn't finish. 5 on 4. Barry behind the play. Now he gets back. Brogdon off to Shayok. Shayok back to Brogdon. Brogdon, got Williams in the air, steps back, misses the jumper. Boy, he's had a couple of looks that he normally makes.
Well, it's the shot fake and then that step back. So he's got every defender except for Marcus Page on the string.
Another long stretch without a whistle. Media timeout coming on the next stoppage.
And long stretches of North Carolina on defense after those quick shots. The first one was a layup they just missed, but that last one by Marcus Page awfully quick and not sure it was necessary.
Shayok with a drive. And we're going to have basket interference on Mike Tobey, so it'll be Carolina ball when we come back. Back and forth they go, and a good one in the championship game here in Washington. Marcus Page playing some good D and getting the offense going here in the second half for North Carolina. The senior is fired up and trying to fire up the crowd, but Virginia answers with an Nolte three, and the Wahoos have the lead. Game streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Memphis trying to steal a bid. UConn has had as good a week as anybody in the country has had. And then in the SEC, the top two seeds, Kentucky and Texas A&M.
How good has Kentucky's Jamal Murray been in the last half of this season? He's been one of the 5 best guards in the country. 11 straight games he scored over 20 points.
Virginia 40, North Carolina, Virginia 42 rather, North Carolina 40. Nearing the midway point of the second half of the ACC Championship game on a Saturday night in Washington.
Brice Johnson needs to be active and try to get the ball. He hasn't touched it in a while.
Britt with a jumper, in and out. Well, that ball was halfway down. Virginia cold lately, one of its last 7, still with the lead.
And this short stretch, a great opportunity for North Carolina to get Marcus Page a little bit of rest because Malcolm Brogdon is on the bench for Virginia. Another shot fake that gets a North Carolina defender off of the floor.
4-point lead, Virginia. Johnson calling for it in the post. Tries to spin to the baseline. He does and lays it in.
Well, that double team by Evan Nolte was too late getting there. And that double's got to come over when the ball is in the air. And it was late getting there, and Brice Johnson took advantage of it. North Carolina's got to play through Brice Johnson right now.
He's 5 for 5, 10 points tonight.
He finds open people, and he's found Joel Berry a couple times for shots.
He's got more assists than anybody else in the game right now as we check in with Allison Williams.
Well, Tony Bennett told his guys, don't get wild on offense. Play our game. And Ron Sanchez, his assistant coach, told me we have to keep our poise. UNC is revving it up, but we can't take that bait and start rushing and making poor decisions. Our turnovers have led to a couple pick sixes for them.
Yeah, they definitely have. Nolte's open off the inbounds play. And as you've said a couple of times, they dodged a bullet on that one.
Hicks has Nolte on him inside. Carolina ought to let him touch the ball.
Johnson being defended by Gill. Berry driving on Darius Thompson, and he draws the foul. And will have a chance to tie the game at the free throw line.
That is a strong drive. Joel Berry may be small, but he is strong. He gets low off the dribble. He's the lower man, able to absorb that contact from Darius Thompson and then get into his shooting motion where he got fouled.
Malcolm Brogdon checking back in. Roy Williams said before the game, you know, if he gets 25 points, but it takes him 25 shots, he's okay with that. He's got 12 points so far, and he's taken 17 shots. So Carolina, as you said, mostly Marcus Page, they're doing a really nice job making Brogdon work.
Yeah, Marcus Page has been the defender of the game. He is smaller than Malcolm Brogdon. He is not as physically strong. I'll tell you what, he is every bit as mentally tough, and he's proven it.
Real energy in the building. It is tied again, just as it was at halftime. Shayok guarded by Jackson.
Virginia, and they call this offense sides. They're coming off a little pin down and then a fade screen on the opposite side.
Brogdon again, the step back. Too strong.
Well, that is a tough shot, and he was forced into it by Marcus Page, and good help by Justin Jackson.
Will Johnson get a touch?
Either Johnson or Hicks.
Johnson will step out. Isaiah Wilkins defending him. Johnson out of control. And eventually Virginia comes up with the ball.
I don't think they want to give Brice Johnson, unless he's got a clear shot, the ball at the elbow and let him drive. He needs to get it down to the low post. And if that double comes, he's made, for the most part, good decisions. He's coughed it up a couple times.
Doesn't get a chance, that patented jump hook of his. We haven't seen it tonight. with the quick double teams and him having to give up the ball.
Well, Virginia not really going to the offensive glass. They want to get back in transition first. Johnson was open early, ran the court, got early post position, but there was good ball pressure, and Carolina couldn't see him.
Jackson to Johnson. Again, he has to step out. Hand off to Berry. He'll put it up with 6 on the clock, and Carolina has reclaimed the lead.
Well, how strong was Joel Berry? Because Parentes was all over him and not allowing him to get back for that handoff. And he forced his way back and made a terrific offensive play.
7 minutes to go. Low scoring, tight, tense affair here in the ACC Championship game.
And North Carolina has matched Virginia defensive play for defensive play.
Parentes to Brogdon. Long rebound, Parentes.
Long rebound's really the only offensive rebound that Virginia's gotten in the second half.
Parentes. Boy, Virginia is missing some shots that normally guys like Parentes and Brogdon make.
Third game in 3 days. You know, it can be difficult to make the shots that you normally make.
Brogdon is 5 for 19. Parentes is 2 for 9, and they are both outstanding shooters.
Elevator play defended very well by Virginia.
Page, it's a 3. Jackson.
Those are the kind of plays that win basketball games. North Carolina's defense has been excellent in the second half, really all game long. The only time they've had breakdowns really is when their offense has led to those breakdowns.
Gill got it back, kicks it out. Parentes again. Another rebound for Gill. Man, is he working hard. And Isaiah Hicks just picked up his 4th foul.
Well, that was a foul. His 3rd foul was not a foul. That one was. Boy, how about the activity level of Anthony Gill? Kicks it out for that open 3. The best shot in basketball. And Joel Berry, look how hard he's got to work to get that ball. Then pulls up to knock that shot down. That was a great offensive play by the point guard. And Justin Jackson getting this offensive rebound. Malcolm Brogdon not there to block him out. An easy second shot for Carolina as they take the lead.
Move of the game brought to you by Degree Motion Sense.
Well, against this North Carolina defense where Virginia has had some success is using shot fakes and ball fakes. Getting Kennedy Meeks off balance leads ultimately to a drive, a spin, and a layup. Then the nice cut, and then the shot fake, getting the defense off its feet. Then another shot fake here and a score. One of the things that Virginia has, one of the ways they've really stayed in the game, because Virginia's only shot 36% from the field while Carolina shot over 50%, is Virginia's got a number of offensive rebounds. They've got 13 offensive rebounds for the game.
Let's check in with Allison.
Guys, just watching this last UNC timeout, it was interesting. All the guys leaning forward, really engaged, locked into what Roy Williams was saying. Brice Johnson was sitting back in his chair, very stoic, no expression whatsoever. And Marcus Page, who often has his ear, said, "Come on, Brice, this is the part of the game where you take over." At one point, Roy Williams asked Brice if he was okay. He said yes, but let's see what kind of emotion he has in these last 5 minutes.
Joel Berry's okay.
Well, the guards have really carried North Carolina. We talked about that before the game, that Marcus Page and Joel Berry were going to have to play well in this one, and both of them have. Another fake.
Well, that just looked like he could have spun into a shot in the paint, but instead they pull it back out and regroup. Lob over the top to Brogdon. And Page was out of bounds.
Yeah, he came in from out of bounds.
And slapped the ball, so it's going to be Virginia ball with 5 on the shot clock.
What an alert play by Marcus Page. Joel Berry has really improved his shot. He's worked awfully hard on it. He's the best three-point shooter, at least has been this year for North Carolina. And that was a huge one.
Ball with a bad pass stolen away by Jackson. The lead grows to 7.
Jackson has been struggling from the field, but has made 2 huge plays in this second half. The offensive rebound and the steal and the dunk. Allison Williams talked about associate head coach Ron Sanchez talking about a pick 6. Well, that was a pick 6 right there. taking it the other way to the house. Is he going to spike it? Close enough.
Jay Billis, Allison Williams, the ACC Championship game. And Carolina out to a 7-point lead. A couple of minutes ago, though, and Carolina fans very familiar with this, all of a sudden Roy Williams to a knee. He suffers from vertigo, and it afflicts him from time to time during games. Normally, if he stands up quickly or turns his head quickly, but immediately he waved off the medical staff, so it must not have been as severe, and he is able to continue. Parentis having to work hard, and it's out of bounds to Carolina as Parentis and Brogdon. Tony Bennett arguing, saying, so they just pointed the wrong way. It is Virginia ball. Parentis and Brogdon, the shots just aren't falling tonight. They're a combined 7 for 30. Two outstanding players and great shooters.
Well, they have both been very well defended.
Some confusion as to whose ball it should be. They're not allowed to check to see who it went out of bounds off of this early in the game. You can only do it in the last 2 minutes.
Well, that went off of Parentis.
Yeah. So I think they've awarded the ball to Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. That is not reviewable at this point of the game. What we're told they're reviewing is the shot clock reset. Most people here are probably thinking they're looking at who should get the ball, but they can't look at that. Even if they see it and see that it should have been the other way, they can't change that.
Only at the end of the game can they go and last 2 minutes and check who the ball went off of if it's contested. But once that's a judgment call. Once they make it, the call is made. While they're looking at the time, don't be fooled. They're going to look to see whether they did that part right.
The initial signal was to Carolina, but then it was as if I don't remember which official was.
Brian Kersey.
Brian Kersey just pointed the wrong way.
Yeah.
So he said, no, I meant to point that way. It's Virginia ball. But it did look like it just went off Parentis' hand. But again, that is not something they can review right now. This is a clock issue. So they've taken 2 seconds off the shot clock. Game clock stays the way it is, but after the first shot hit the rim, now you can hear the Carolina fans are booing because they saw the replay. They saw it went off Parentis. Well, that's not reviewable right now. So a break for Virginia. Page again, drawing the assignment of Brogdon. That's been the case almost the entire game.
Well, he has stayed in front of him the entire game.
Meeks got knocked down. Parentis penetrates. Toby misses the follow. And then Toby fouls Meeks.
Well, Mike Toby had that offensive rebound and should have finished that. And he knows it. You don't get point-blank opportunities that often, but boy, he has been so good at the end of this season and such an asset for Virginia. Gets inside position on the drive, gets it with both hands. Just maybe caught himself too far underneath to finish it.
And Virginia shooting just 34% tonight, and Jay, they've missed their last 10 field goal attempts.
You got to credit North Carolina's defense. Some of those were shots that Virginia might normally make. Of course, it's a very good offensive team, but Carolina's defense has been excellent.
Meeks, turnaround jumper short. You know, we talk about how when Virginia's leading, it's hard to come back on them because the clock seems to move so quickly. The reverse is true. When they're down, they don't rush that much. So again, the clock just keeps on ticking.
Well, there's plenty of time left in this game. Another offensive rebound.
And a held ball. The arrow gives it to the Tar Heels. Timeout on the floor. 3:19 to go. Carolina by 7. Knock off UConn, undefeated and seeking a record 4th straight championship. You're looking at the 4 likely #1 seeds.
3 losses between or among the top 4 teams in women's basketball. That's amazing.
3:10 to go. A 13-2 run for Carolina. Virginia in a long offensive drought. The Heels looking to extend the lead on this possession.
Brogdon and Fuentes for Virginia, 7 of 32. Nice screen.
Page gets inside, blocked by Gill, and then he corrals it off the glass.
Oh, that was an amazing defensive play by Anthony Gill.
Last field goal Virginia made was more than 7 minutes ago.
They've gotten some good looks.
Gill spun into traffic, had to kick it back out.
Well, they converged. Terrific play by Brice Johnson to get it out of there.
Carolina's played better defense the last 2 games than they played all season. Nolte almost turned it over. Now the shot clock's running down. Fuentes has to force.
Another excellent half-court defensive possession by North Carolina. This has been a half-court game. And you would think Virginia's tempo. But right now, North Carolina has beaten Virginia so far at its own game. And they've done it with their defense. And number 1 on the hit parade has been Marcus Page. His defense on Malcolm Brogdon has been spectacular.
Barry lobs it up. Johnson, no. Johnson again. The lead grows to 9, and we're inside 2 minutes. Brogdon, they desperately need it, and they get it from the corner.
How quickly did he set his feet? And what a sense of urgency for Marcus Page to get there. He just couldn't get there fast enough. Well, North Carolina has made hustle play after hustle play. The nice drive, not able to finish it. What a great second jump by Brice Johnson. But then on the other end, the answer by Malcolm Brogdon sets his feet behind the three-point line. He is now 2 of 8, 6 of 21 from the field, 15 points, but he has had to work for every one of those. And Roy Williams talked about, hey, he can score a lot of points as long as he takes a lot of shots. 21 shots for 15 points. That's pretty darn good defense.
Now some pressure from Virginia. Carolina with the benefit of having really 2 guys in Barry and Page, either of whom can act as the point guard.
And you have to be strong with the ball because Virginia's only got 4 fouls. So they can come after you without concern about putting you on the line.
Milk the clock a little bit. It's down to 10. We're under 1:20 to go.
Certainly don't want to foul now. Just play it out.
Barry off to Page. The 3. And the rebound down to Gill.
Well, not a good offensive possession for North Carolina. They settled.
Virginia will look to get into the offense a little bit quicker here. Nolte open in the corner. Got it! 1 possession game.
Brice Johnson guarding Evan Nolte. And Nolte just faded to that three-point line. Johnson didn't go with him.
.40 seconds to go.
Well, how about Virginia? Talk about never say die.
Hicks at the free throw line. Spins into Nolte, puts it up, and it's good. What a huge basket for North Carolina.
And the 6th man of the year comes through.
Brogdon gets a look. Johnson down with a rebound, and they foul him.
But that does not mean free throws. North Carolina, that's just the 15th foul for Virginia. North Carolina will take the ball out of bounds.
And at this point, if Virginia doesn't get an immediate steal, they're going to have to foul and foul again and put them on the line.
But you need to go for the steal.
Yeah. There have been a total of 11 free throws shot in this game.
Yeah, most of them by North Carolina, but it's amazing that nobody's gotten into the 1-and-1 in this game.
That's crazy.
It's remarkable. 40 minutes, not one team in the 1-and-1.
Sneaks to inbound. Page ahead to Barry. Precious seconds ticking away. Shayok with a block.
Oh, they called a foul.
Oh, they did. You're right. A foul called on Shayok. And the Virginia fans thought it was all ball. They just got a look here.
I thought it was all ball too. I was really surprised when they called the foul. I was more surprised though at the beginning when Joel Barry decided to take the ball to the basket instead of just angling it back out.
Agreed. Barry, an 85% free throw shooter.
Well, this answers an awful lot of questions about North Carolina's toughness, their ability to win a game at somebody else's tempo. Just 14 seconds away from being undisputed ACC champion.
Prentice with the lay-in, but we're down under 10 seconds. Timeout taken by Tony Bennett. Will step aside briefly here in Washington. Back here in Washington, North Carolina's less than 9 seconds away from an ACC Tournament Championship. They held Notre Dame to 47 points last night. They've held Virginia to 54. This is the North Carolina where people would look at them and say, if they could do this, they're the best team in the country.
There's no question. And the way North Carolina has defended, it's not just the amount of points surrendered, it's the field goal percentage surrendered. Neither Virginia nor Notre Dame was able to get up over 40% from the field. That is excellent defense, and they've had to do it mostly in the half court. And really a number of the points that Virginia scored were off of North Carolina turnovers, so their defense was producing some offense.
Meeks to inbound into Page, and Brogdon fouls him immediately. North Carolina Tar Heels have not won an ACC Tournament Championship since 2008. If they win this one, it will be their 18th. That will put them one back of Duke for the most ever, and it'll be their first one, as we mentioned, since 08, the first one for any school based in North Carolina since 2011. And what a year in a league this good to win the regular season title and the tournament championship. I mean, that would, you have to think, virtually guarantee them a 1 seed. And Virginia may wind up on the 1 line as well. We'll find out tomorrow. Gill from 30 feet away knocks it down, but there's less than a second left. And now with 0.2 of a second left, Barry is fouled.
Right, Virginia, you talk about never say die. But North Carolina with just 0.2 seconds between the Tar Heels and the ACC Tournament Championship. And when you win the regular season outright, and when you win the tournament championship, you don't have to qualify anything. You are ACC champion.
We're looking at the clock to see how much time should be there.
The clock's supposed to stop as soon as the ball clears the net.
Which it looked like it did. It was at 0.6, or it stopped at 0.6 after the shot.
Yeah, 0.6, 0.7, something like that. It's got 0.2 right now.
And they might put a little bit more on. I mean, I think it was Prentice wrapped up Barry as soon as he caught the ball. The clock does not start till it's touched inbound, so they might get another 1/10 or 2.
0.4, maybe 0.5, something like that. And it looks like 0.3, they're saying. 0.3 gives you time enough to catch it and release it. Anything less than 0.3 has to be a controlled tip.
Basically, Barry can render this irrelevant if he can knock down a couple of free throws.
Right. And Joel Barry is an excellent free throw shooter. He shoots about 85% of the season, 89% in ACC play. Tell you what, it's tough to hand out a player of the game in this one, but for me it'd be Marcus Page. I mean, we talked before the game about, you know, the big guys. We always tend to talk about North Carolina's front court, but you knew that the guards had to perform at a high level in this one, and Joel Barry and Marcus Page did that. Barry more offensively, but Marcus Page's defense was spectacular from tap to buzzer.
You know, it's funny, he's 0 for 7 from three-point range, and you say, oh, so he didn't shoot the ball well, but he did everything else well.
Everything. And I don't know who, when somebody says, hey, who wants to guard Brogdon? I don't know who raises their hand willingly, but Marcus Page certainly did. And that was a challenge he took on, and he excelled.
Made them both. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the champions of the ACC. What a week for Carolina, and what a couple of performances, especially over the last 2 nights. Holding Notre Dame to 47, holding Virginia to 57, Carolina wins the regular season title. They win the tournament championship. And they might be playing their best basketball of the year right now, heading into the big game.
Well, it has to be satisfying for Roy Williams and his staff and the team that the Tar Heels came to Washington, D.C., and they won this ACC championship with their defense. They have been criticized because of their perceived lack of toughness, the fact that they maybe didn't defend at the highest level, that they just wanted to outscore people. Well, that hadn't been the case at the end of the season, and it started late in the first half against Pittsburgh.
And you got to feel for a senior who's had a couple of up and down years, injuries the last couple of years, but man, he played his tail off tonight.
He played his tail off, and everything he did defensively was alert. He played hard. He had a sense of urgency, smart. I mean, I haven't seen anybody guard Malcolm Brogdon better than Marcus Page did it in this game. When the lights were brightest, Marcus Page was at his best.
Let's go to Allison Williams with a happy coach.
Guys, thank you very much. Happy indeed. Roy Williams embracing Marcus Page as they celebrate their ACC tournament title. Coach, you've been here 5 of the last 6 years. How does it feel to be celebrating at the end of it?
Well, this is a lot better feeling than watching the other team celebrate. Marcus was sensational down the stretch in the second half. The whole team really did a nice job of coming up with stops.
You told us that this championship team was the most criticized and the least appreciated. What did they prove in this tournament?
They showed people they're a lot tougher than all the naysayers say, all the haters, but we got some good kids that played their butts off.
Thank you so much, Marcus. You had to defend the ACC Player of the Year in Malcolm Brogdon. How did you do it so well tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I've been competing against him for years now. I just wanted to make it tough on him. He's so good, and he can do everything so well that I just wanted to make everything contested, everything challenged, and I think I did a pretty good job.
You are the ACC outright champions. You win the regular season and the conference tournament. How does it feel?
Well, it feels great. You know, people say that the schedule, not everyone gets to play each other twice, so to win outright and to win the tournament kind of lets people know that we're the champs this year and we can't be touched.
What have you guys proved in this tournament? I mean, so many people this year applauded your offense, but what did you show with your defense the last couple of games?
I think we showed more toughness than anyone has seen from us all year. People question our consistency and our toughness and our will. I think we erased all that doubt this week in the last week of the regular season.
Marcus, thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, the smile says it all. And you know what, Marcus, you're right. You did a pretty good job. The whole team did a pretty good job. North Carolina wins the ACC Championship. They beat Virginia 61-57. For our outstanding crew, for Jay Billis, Allison Williams, and everybody else associated with this, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks for watching. SportsCenter's coming your way.